This thing on? Are we working? All right. Well, welcome to the Freewheelin Vans Channel. I'm your host, Adam Sestacek. The idea behind this channel is to pay tribute to Vannin. I want to bring you videos on the history and the culture of Vannin. I want to do interviews with OG Vanners. I want to bring you maintenance and repair videos and anything else that you can think of. If you have ideas for me, put them in the comments below. I ask that you be patient with me due to the fact that this is new to me. I have never done YouTube videos before. My kids are much more savvy at this than I am. I do elicit their help occasionally. Today's video, we're going to take a look at my van. This is a 1974 Ford Econoline E300. It's the one-ton version. It did not look like this when I first got it. I put a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears into this van over the last year, but I'm very proud of what I've accomplished to date. So let's get at it. All right, so here she is. The color is Baja Beige. This was an original color that they offered back in 1974. When I bought her, she had these large oval decals on the side that were basically dry rotted from the sun. They were cracked and faded. It took me 4 days to get them off with using a heat gun and a plastic scraper. About a week after I got her, I went to the auto swap meet here in San Diego and I found these portholes, which I basically cut and put in myself. This first porthole I cut, I just committed to it. I was scared to put a hole in the side of my van, my brand new van, but I went ahead and did it. I cut the hole, I placed it in, it worked perfect. And then when I went to go do the other one on the other side, I realized that I never did my measurements. So I probably measured 15 times to make sure that I had the right placement before I put in this other porthole. You can still see some remnants of the oval decal. I will never be able to get that all away. I have tried for hours to try to get them off using different methods, but nothing will take it all completely off. I do want to mention that this van is not perfect, okay? But she's mine. I love driving her. And basically she has her issues, but for the most part, she's a driver. I know I can get in and go for a ride anytime. And I'm not worried about a scratch here or a ding there. She has the basic regular issues with rust in the drip rails and at the bottom of the doors, which I'll show you here a little bit. But she has a cool story behind her. And I'll get into a little bit more of that here as we go along. She came with the wheels. A couple months after we got her, my son and I, he's about 15 now, he and I put disc brakes on the front. Yeah, it's been going well so far. So moving around to the front, she did come with this grill, already had this grill. The fog lights I actually purchased online. They were new old stock NOS. One of them was still in the box, the other one was not, but they're from the late 70s, early. Actually, they have now that I think about it, they have some numbering on the lens. I believe it says 1976 on them. So yeah, they're from the 70s. The antenna was broken off, so I purchased another one of those cheap, I think from Classic Industries. And the windshield wipers, I did have the windshield wipers, but the actual wiper part itself here was black. So I think from Classic Industries for 20 bucks, I bought a new set of those and got chrome ones put back on there. I do have a CB that I installed. With that CB, I put in a PA speaker due to the fact that my horn does not work. So if I got to yell at people who are busy looking at their phones at a stoplight, I can yell at them through the PA. Moving over to the driver's side, got some good examples of that rust I'm talking about. Bottom of the door, drip rail. Here's some more pictures of the leftovers from the decal that won't come off. But yeah, other than that, she's in pretty good condition. Her paint was pretty faded, oxidized when I got her. After I got those decals off, I spent a good couple days doing a buff and wax on her, and she came back to life. Moving to the rear, you can see some more of those issues with the drip rail on the top there. These louvers, a friend of mine, Neil, gave me. He had pulled these from a pick your own part junkyard off of an Econoline, and they fit perfect. I just basically replaced the rubber around the windows because they were dry rotted and cracked, and they weren't pliable enough to be able to get these louvers in. So I replaced the rubber, made it a lot easier. I also picked these up the same day I picked up the portholes. I also picked up this trim, this chrome trim, and threw these on as well. Most of my work to this point has been done on the inside. When I first purchased this van, the inside was all plywood. I had a couple shelves on the wall here. I did have a bed frame, but the bed frame was smaller than a twin, and it was backed up all the way to the very back. What I've done is basically everything in here. I found seat swivels online, went and purchased those. These seats are also from my buddy Neil. These are out of a Chevy. I'm not super happy with them. I prefer to have something that is adjustable and maybe has an arm on the inside piece, on the inside portion. So I'm holding out to get these, to pay to have these reupholstered. But all of the upholstery I did myself. Ordered it online, Etsy, from Fabulous Fabrics. You have the diamond tucked vinyl on the roof and on the overhead console. And then, I don't know if it's kind of hard to see, there it is. And then the wavy velour on the walls. The doghouse cover came from Sewer Rat Upholstery. You can also find him on Instagram. Dude does awesome work. I asked him if he could put a pocket in for me. He did that, and he's very reasonably priced. The drink holder was originally press board. It was falling apart. It wasn't sticking together at all. I basically took it out, used it as a template for some plywood, and then I reused the trim, and I actually reused the finials as well from the original. I still have the original. I don't like how the plywood turned out, so I'm going to do it with some actual solid wood, maybe oak or something like that. With the overhead console, this thing was a bear. Trying to get that the right fit in there. It took me a couple times to finally get that done, but I think it turned out pretty good. Basically, what it houses is a backup camera. The camera is part of the license plate frame on the back. This switch panel I got from Charlie's Van Salvage. This thing works awesome. I've only used, I think, 3 out of the 6 switches so far, so I got plenty of space for more. I got a Cobra 29 LTD Classic CB radio. I got a fan. This was actually also NOS. I bought this at the same time I bought the fog lights, and it was still in the box, and it's from the probably the 70s, 80s. Works great, especially on those hot days. And then here I have a phone charger up here for the passenger. And yeah, everything works pretty well. Moving on to the dash. When I bought this van, the dash was cut for a modern day radio. buddy of mine, Mickey, had this extra dash uncut, and he had the original Cal Customs foot pedal. I bought those off of him, and then I went ahead and I bought a Bluetooth style, old style radio. So I don't have to listen to the regular radio channels when I'm tired of hearing all the commercials. I can basically just put on Spotify, Sirius, or whatever it is that I want to listen to at the time. I replaced the plexi inside of my dash. The plexi was in pretty bad condition. I couldn't even see the mileage anymore. It was so oxidized and faded. The steering wheel is sticky, and so I had to cover it with something. I do have a video coming up on a wood steering wheel that, again, my friend Neil hooked me up with, that I'm refurbishing. So I'll have a video out on that here soon. When I got the van, it came with gauges, extra gauges, but they were not working. They were hooked up, but for some reason they weren't working, and there was plastic that was all chipped out of them as well. So I went and I replaced them with these moon eyes gauges and tachometer. Got them all hooked up. Everything works great now. Took me some time. I think I had them in for about 6 months before I actually hooked them up, but they're good to go now. I have a speaker for the CB radio. Unfortunately for these CB radios, the speaker is at the bottom of the radio, so you can see I don't have anything. You can't hear it if I have it turned on. So I added an external speaker, and it works great. Regarding the fur on the dash, I was trying to figure out what to do with the dash here. The dash is not in bad condition. It does have a dash pad because this van originally came with a jump seat here. It had a seat that would fold down, but the dash is not in that great a condition, or the dash pad is not in that great a condition. The rest of the dash is pretty good. I think the reason I went with the fur was to kind of match what I had in here on the bed, but also because it's kind of a gray color, and I didn't want to remove everything from the dash and repaint it to kind of match the rest of the interior. So I figured by doing this, it actually solves that problem, and it matches well. I think it goes well with the rest of the van. I wanted to mention I also got these lights, these interior lights, this portion here, from Charlie's Van Salvage. They work. Actually, I don't have them hooked up right now, but they do work. I tested them on the bench. These here are actually remote control, rechargeable little lights. And I have one on the front and back of this light. They're Velcroed on. I have one underneath the driver's side, underneath the passenger side. And then I have some in the back as well, in the back over here. And they light up, different colors. They do different evolutions of color, or of blinking, things like that. They work pretty well. All right, moving on to this. I wanted to put an auxiliary battery into the van, and I figured I was going to have to house it somewhere rather than underneath the bed. I was going to have to house it probably on the side here, and I was considering building a bench that somebody could sit on, but I didn't have the time to build the bench, and I wasn't sure what I wanted. But in my scrolling on Marketplace, I found this dresser or nightstand for free, and figured I'd see if I could swoop up and grab it, which I did. It was still available. It originally had 2 drawers, and then there was a piece of wood in between the 2 drawers. But what I did was I went ahead and I ripped out the interior, and I took those 2 doors and I put them on one piece of wood. So now it's magnetized, I could just remove it, and I have storage for both my auxiliary battery and any other goodies or first aid kit or whatever it is I need. For the auxiliary battery, this is all my wiring here. I have let's see if I can fix this here. There we go. I have a circuit breaker. The power from the main battery comes in here, and then from the circuit breaker it goes up to this voltage isolator. This voltage isolator only comes on when the main battery, when the vehicle is on, the main battery hits, I think it's 14.3 volt. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 13.5 volts or something like that. This kicks on and will start to recharge this auxiliary battery. And then when it's shut off, basically it doesn't allow the voltage from this battery to come back through and try to pull anything else from the main battery. So we're good there. And then I have my extra circuit set up here just for additional like lights inside the van. I got a battery voltage meter here to double check my voltage. I got a phone charger here on this side, and then like this fan and light also works through off of that. And I plan to probably put another light in here somewhere, maybe some additional electronics, things like that. Moving on to the bed. I knew I wanted something bigger than a twin size. I'm kind of a big guy. Sleeping sideways in here wasn't going to work for me. So by building this bed, I think I bought the mattress off of Amazon. I think it's like a 6-inch foam mattress. It's very, very comfortable. And basically I had to cut it a little bit on one side. I think I cut about 4 inches off of one side. But now I can sleep diagonal. So I can put my head over by the speaker there, put my feet at this end here, and sleep comfortably. And then what I did was, coming around to the back here, I kept it far enough away from the rear because, I mean, let's be realistic. I do have leaks coming in when it rains. And I do cover this when it's raining. I try to cover this if I'm not going to use it. But I don't want my bed getting soaked, mildewy, anything like that. So what I did was I pushed it in a little bit, as you can see here. And actually it's perfect. So now if I have any water come in, it doesn't hit the bed at all. Again, it's super comfortable, very nice. Thanks to one of my buddies, Cleese, I got this idea using a hacky sack for the back of your rattling door handles. Works pretty good. Keeps the door handle from rattling. Also, you can use a hacky sack when you're camping or something. These circular pillows I made myself. I had some leftover material from the curtain. I forgot to talk about the curtain. I'll get to that in a minute. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a frame around the inside of the porthole here. I'll do a nice wood frame, maybe like an octagon frame or something with a circle in the middle. And then what these will do is these will get stuffed in at night like that. So no light will come in. You sleep nice and cozy. The curtain I made myself. It is a 2-part curtain. And it's got this rail that goes all the way around the front, all the way to the passenger side over here. It's magnetized in the middle. It's got the 2 separate pieces are magnetized in the middle with magnets, so I can open them up or close them and they'll stick together. I don't have to worry about, them air blowing them open or something like that. But it goes all the way around the front to give you that extra living room feel with the seats. I also have this 109-inch CB antenna. Works pretty good. The radio itself is phenomenal. I can hear transmissions all the way from East Coast, Arkansas, things like that. Unfortunately, I can't transmit that far. I'd have to get something like a SSB or some sort of amp or something like that. Why don't we give her a start so you guys can hear what she sounds like. All right, so as you can see, I've put a lot of time and effort into this van. Cool story about the van. I bought it from a guy who had it for about 3 years. About 2.5 years into owning it, he got in a bad motorcycle accident, and basically it sat for 6 months. So he decided to sell it. I found it. It had been sitting on Marketplace for about 6 months. I bought it from him, and when I bought the van, it came with this giant binder full of paperwork, and from the previous owner to this gentleman I bought it from. That guy had it for probably at least 15, 20 years. The paperwork that was inside was everything from maintenance work to writing into Ford to actually get the build sheet. I have the build sheet. The van, when he had it, it was painted primer at the time. It had been vandalized. Some middle schoolers basically went around the neighborhood tagging vehicles, and this was one of those vehicles. I have pictures I'll show you here. The van got vandalized, and so he took the kids, basically the kids, all the neighbors took the kids to court, and the kids had to the families had to pay out. So he was the one that put the money into getting this repainted. It did have dents in it, probably still has dents with Bondo, um, but he was the one that paid all that money to have the van put together. He put the wheels on. He got it looking good. And actually, at one point, I have a picture. It had a Venturi vent on the top, and I wish it still did. But he replaced it with what's on there currently. That guy loved camping in this thing. That's why he built it out the way he did. That's why he had the bed in here, the shelves. There was for the front, he had a piece of wood that he would mount in, and for a dog bed for his dog to basically ride passenger with him. But you could tell the guy had a lot of love for this van. He put a lot of time and effort into this van. Unfortunately, he passed away, and the van was then his daughter inherited the van, and she lived up in Washington. I'm sorry, the guy who owned the van originally lived up in the Bay Area, up near San Francisco. His daughter lived in Washington. The van got transported to Washington, where it sat. Basically, she didn't do a lot of work to it. It sat, and unfortunately, when the guy built it out, he had put in fiberglass insulation inside the doors, some of the walls, things like that. Because of Washington, because it rained so much, that rain would fall in through where the windows are and sit in that insulation, and that's what caused a lot of this rust to happen at the bottom of the doors. I have a feeling if that wouldn't have been the case, that water would have been allowed to drain through the drain holes. But unfortunately, it just sat in there. And in fact, when I finally pulled out the insulation out of the doors, it was still wet, and that had been years. So, yeah, it wasn't taken care of very well. I think that's the reason why there's a lot of rust up on the drip rail as well. And then when the guy before me got it, he purchased it from her, had it shipped down, and he put some time and effort into making sure that the alignment was correct. So he had the front end redone, which is good. It drives straight, smooth, no problem. I bought this van in February of last year, 2024, and the first year I had it, it was mechanically perfect. Nothing was wrong with it. But almost a year to the day that I bought it, I found a radiator leak, which I went to get repaired, and they basically told me that the radiator was plugged, thus the reason why it started to leak through seams and stuff. So rather than paying what they were asking to unplug it and fix it, I just went ahead and bought a new one because it was only like $60 more, and I took it out, installed it myself. And one of the other issues I had recently, which you'll see a video on in the coming weeks, my brake booster had a vacuum leak. Found out that my master cylinder was leaking into my brake booster, and basically made the rubber diaphragm on the inside blow out. So I got a new brake booster, I installed it, and everything's working great there as well. So for the most part, I haven't had very many mechanical issues. I do think that my transmission might be starting to have problems. So I'm going to have to look into that here soon. But I just want to disclaimer. I'm putting a disclaimer in here. I am not an auto mechanic. So these repair and maintenance videos that I'm going to put out are because I feel comfortable doing the work myself. If you do not feel comfortable doing work yourself, if you don't have the experience, don't follow me on what I'm doing. I'm an aircraft mechanic by trade, so I feel comfortable working on vehicles. If I can keep a helicopter in the air, I feel pretty confident that I can keep a vehicle on the road. I will say that newer vehicles nowadays, I don't touch them too much. I usually let the mechanics, the trained professionals, do that. But just use your own caution if you decide to follow what I'm working on or what I'm doing. I think that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I do want to make this a regular thing. I do have videos coming up on maintenance. I do have Big Ass Cookout coming up at the end of the month, which I'm going to get a good video on. I did interview a gentleman. I'm not going to give it away right now, but I did interview an OG vanner. I do have that interview I'm finalizing now. That'll be out in the next couple weeks. So stay tuned for that one. And do me a favor. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe down below. Again, I ask that you provide any comments down below. Positive, constructive comments on what you'd like to see. I'm more than happy to try to get what I can. I do plan on doing more interviews, reaching out to more people. Yeah. So thanks for watching this video. I appreciate it. I hope I can bring you more enjoyment. I do think that vanning is coming back. I think it's having a resurgence. The good thing about that is it's more in our community. I think it's awesome to see these things stay on the road. The bad thing is it's going to make these things start go up in value. Parts are going to be more expensive. Things are going to be harder to find. So until next time, keep on vanning.